Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here for my Monday night video fireside chat, and I have just a whole lot of things. We're going to do a wrap up at the end for my holiday book tour, but first let's kick it off with our wreath making. You are still making the wreaths, which is awesome. It's so fast. Of course, I got to this part. Whoops, here I am. Got to this part and I did not get it basted to quilted, but I'm thinking about it. I haven't had it hanging up and I'm ready to think about the quilting. So let me show you what I'm planning. So I'm going to use either the straight stitch or the wave, and I want to sort of outline, I want to accent the shapes that are here. So I'll use navy and go through to make it even more curvy, so you get the wreath shape. On the bow, I'll do the same thing. I'll just sort of outline in here and then maybe one through the middle. In the center, I want to do a little spiral in, and out here, I think on the corners, I think I'll just do straight across corner to corner. The red will be very simple, probably just 2 lines going down, and then the navy corners the same thing, just going out the corners like this. So that'll all be pretty simple. Then I started thinking, this navy doesn't have any, it reads very solid. And so I thought it would be super cute to get some buttons. I've got to go get some more red buttons and white buttons. So I think I'll put red and white buttons in here and on the wreath. And I think that will look just darling. So that is my wreath plan. And I'm hoping that this week I get it based. Well, I should. There should be nothing to, whoops, there goes a button. Ah, lost the button. Oh well. I'll have another button, I'm sure. So I will get this basted up this week. It's small. So I'm also working on the cross stitch. Yes, I got far along on the monthly maker one. I started, now do you do this? I'm curious. Like I got to the end of this shovel, like that's as, first of all, I made the shovel a little bit more curvy than it's supposed to be. So it's what it's going to look like. It's like a blunt shovel. But I made one more curve at the top than it should be. But I got across there and I didn't have any more thread to finish it. But I had already a needle with the green on it for like the carrot stems here, because that's a carrot that'll be across the bottom. So I had that green and I just switched. My fear is I'll forget to go back and do the bottom of the shovel, but I think it's pretty obvious that I didn't get it done. I don't know. I'm hoping, do you do that? Do you just like stop and go over, or do you have to finish it? I'm curious on that one, because it didn't bother me at all to stop, because the other needle was already had thread on it, so that made it super easy. I also did a little bit of work on the sail away, not very much. I didn't get much stitching done, but I did work a little bit. I had the white for over on the seagull, but I think I'm going to go back and start just finishing up the top. I will go and do the banner that comes up at the top. There's pennants across here. I think I'll do them. I think I'll work on the chain, and I do believe that I might want to leave most of the white until the last after I finish this thread, just so that I don't get it dirty while I'm handling it. So I don't know, is that a good plan for you veteran cross stitchers? I'm also playing around with the metal book holder, and this has, I am just in love with this for the cross stitch stuff, because I'm using the magnets. This one's a strong magnet. I'm using the magnets to put the things on here. Here's the sheep, so I've got like, the sheep has got the next thread for the carrot for what I was making there, and that's just hooked up here, and I've got layered what I'm working on, and I just got this pattern. Oh my goodness. Like I know I won't be sewing this this month or this summer, but I might start it this summer. Look at that. What did she do? She made like a little mermaid. That must come in there too. Look at the little mermaid. I didn't even open it, but I think this is so darling, from Madame Chantilly. Super cute. And I've also got my little floss winders here, so I'm ready with the next colors, and I've been highlighting on the pattern for the sail away, because I don't have a color printer when I printed that, so I've been highlighting so I keep track of where I am, because it's a little hard to see. But these metal book stands are just wonderful. So I'll link you up to that below in case you also want to have a metal book stand. We should all have something that works really good. I'm actually going to leave that once there's the books I'm signing for the giveaways from the book tour, but after those are moved, I'm going to put this book stand up there, because then I can just lay the cross stitch there, and I'm finding that works really well to keep me working on it every day. It's like leaving any handwork out. It's like, for me, leaving the handwork basket out means I can work on, I can just stop, take a break from computer work and just go and do a little cross stitch, or if I'm doing like the English paper piecing or applique by hand, just do that little handwork. So that will go back over there, and it doesn't take, it's not very deep, so it'll just sit over there nice against the back wall. You have to have a plan. You always have to have a plan. At least I had to have a plan. Now, the old school block of the month came out the other day, and it's from Carrie Golder of Kid Giddy. And so I've known Carrie for quite a long time. She does really, really darling projects. And this one is neat. I'm going to show you a picture of it. It's an economy block, but it has a little twist because there's a little pocket in there so that it's 3D. I think that's the coolest thing ever. I can't wait to try it. It'll probably be a few days before I make it. I'm looking at probably showing you mine on Friday. I think that will be the day it will happen. I might. I have just a lot of stuff to do on Tuesday, so we'll see if I sew it up. Now, I did get a lot of projects finished, and so when that happens, I need to go and get project bins emptied. I talked about that the other day. So on Saturday, that is what I did. I went and emptied a bunch of project bins. I went and took a bunch of stuff that had come in and put it where it should be, rather than stacked in my dining room. So I was moving things around, moving the bins around. I still have a few that I have to, I have to go through it a little bit more, and I have one project that I need to get a bin emptied so that I can put it in there for this coming fall, because I've already got gathering stuff up for it for one of the fall sew-alongs. Speaking of the sew-alongs, I will be getting a sort of a revised start date for ones that are coming in, like the Spooky Sampler and the Basket of Blooms. I need to put start dates on when those will happen. I don't have my stuff yet, so we got to figure out what it is, what's going on, but it's coming in. The stuff's finally coming in. Somewhere I read that delays now are like about 2-month delays. Like when they first told you things would come, from distributors and stuff like that, that is down to like a more regular 2-month delay to everything. So it's like, well, that's getting better. It can only get better, right? So I have a mail call. This is from Debbie. So she sent me this super cute card. Look at that. The dog selfie. They're goofballs, aren't they? Just goofballs. And so she sent me a bunch of edges from the fabrics so that I can use them in my salvage quilt. Yes, I've got a bin of these, and sometime later this summer, I think I will mock up the first block. I will get one block made and see how it looks. I know what red fabric I want from Benertex. There's a red from Benertex that I really like. It's a really good, like a Christmas red, and it has a little texture in it, so it's not solid, and that will be what I use. And so these are going to get, I'm going to get sewing some of them up. It's kind of like those crumb blocks. These things could just accumulate until they become overwhelming, and we don't want that. So when I was doing that cleaning up, speaking of the crumb blocks, I ended up getting a few more fabrics things. So like this square, well, rather than, I'm not going to cut it into strips or anything. It'll be a crumb block so that I can just use it, as is. Use that whole square as is. Same with this one. It was no use cutting them down or anything to make them into strips. You just keep them as is. I don't want to make more work. And I have plenty of strips in here. Oh, here was another one. Super cute. These were all from Kate at the Confidence Stitch. I don't know which one she still has anymore, but she's also running this sale that still has another day, I think, on it, where you can get 10 fat quarters for 20 bucks, and she lets you select like sort of colorways for those. You could get like a mix, so it'd be random, and she would pick things, or you could say like you want primarily greens or primarily pinks, and she'll put the bundle together. So it's a surprise. You can give yourself a surprise. I think it's awesome. And she does a really great job. When she did this before, you loved them. You loved them. You told me over and over. So many of you wrote and said to me that was the most fun. A great little surprise that came. You got 10 fun fact quarters that somebody picked in you know, who has very good taste. So that's Kate from the Confident Stitch, which is a shop in Montana that I work with. In Missoula, Montana. For those of you who are in Montana or can get there, you can go stop in and see Kate. She has great internet business, so you can always visit her there. That's the best way. Like, you can do it in your jammies at 10 o'clock at night. You can go visit. Yeah. So I had some goodies that came in. Imagine that. One with Bev. Bev has a new little truck needle minder. So she was on the tour. She did the little houses, which you'll see again here towards the end when I do a recap. But this needle minder is so cute. It just screams summer. And it has, yeah, see, it has a little quilt block on the door. So cute, so cute. I also had something I got that I totally forgot why I got it. Does, you know, am I the only one? I hope I'm not the only one. But literally, I had, this ruler came in, okay? So it's this big 60-degree ruler. And I'm like, great. I want to try that, but why? What was I going to make? What was I going to try it on? And I'm like, I literally sat here for days until all of a sudden the other night I went like, oh, it's that table topper. Let me put a picture. It's the table topper that's like a star. And it's a free pattern, and you can get it at the links down below or at the links at my website. But that is what this ruler is for. So I went and made a sticky and put it on here. Good grief, Pat, good grief. I just could not believe that I totally forgot what that was for. I was like, that's not good. That's not good. I also am thinking about this. Because I'm going to send a quilt to the spa, I'm thinking about sending this, but I don't know. I've had it a while. You can still get it. And I'm sure I've showed it to you. I'm going to show it to you again because I love it. A couple of the designers have done these word panels with their fabric lines. And this one, it's called, it says nature, right? Yeah. What does it say? I'm sorry. It says nature is my home. There we go. Nature is my home. And it is big. So basically, it is either you can make it just as a throw like this, or it could be a backing on another quilt, or you could take it as is and build it out into something else. And there's a bunch of these that have been coming out. A lot of them are holiday themed, but there's some that are like this that came with a fabric line, and I just really, really love it because the size is 57 by 68. So you can see it is pretty much, you could use it as is. But I thought, do I want to put it on the back of something? Do I just want to make it for itself as a throw? I know somebody I could give it to. Do I want to make it a little bigger with, you know, something around it? Decisions. So what would you do? What would you do with that? Would you make it a little bigger and just sort of, you know, I could just put even, it's great like it is. You know, just go and have it with some great quilting and it's just a throw. It would be super with cuddle on the back. One of those really pretty soft cuddles. But it says nature, so I always think like, well, that seems more spring, summer, like, rather than cuddle, which is warm, cozy, like when it's chilly out. So I'm a little, I don't know what to do. It's one of those deals where it's like, not sure. So tell me what you would do. So let's talk about the book tour. Oh wait, before we go to the book tour, Yesterday was sewing machine day on Sunday, and I was featured with a couple other designers at the Fat Quarter Shop's website, so I will link you below to that. So if you missed it, it was fun to read and see everybody's sewing machines. So Kimberly and a couple of others, Wendy, who did the elephant stomp, she was one of the other designers, so you want to go check that out. It was fun to do. And then on my group, Put Along with Pat Sloan, I posted about it on Sunday, and tons of you linked your sewing machines and shared them. It was so cool, such a cool thread to read through and see all the machines. We like to show off our machines, don't we? We got to show off our babies. See, here's my baby, my Solaris. Okay, the book tour. You have been so fabulous, visiting all of my friends and making them feel so welcome. They just have all written me and said how delightful it was that you came and visited, and they just loved it. They loved you know, that you left them nice notes and entered to win the book at their site. This book. So what I did is I put up the heart quilt on the wall here so you could see it hanging up in my studio. Now when I designed this, Cindy and Dennis quilted it for me, and they did a really cool job. I'm going to scroll it in, because they did in the sashings these cool circles. There you go, you can see the circles, and then they have out on the far side on the border, they have a floral that's really neat. It's like a little heart with a swirl in it. So that's really cool. I love hearts. So I have to tell you, I am that kid that wrote her name, and you know, if there was an I had to put a heart on the top of it, or a dot. But I am that kid that loves hearts, and I've always loved hearts. And I still love them. You know, it's something that I feel is just universal. And for me, having a heart is happy. It makes me very happy to see hearts. I know years and years ago I took a fancy dancy workshop, and I knew this was a very serious art type quilter, and that was great. Nancy Crow, I can tell you who it is. That's who I took a workshop with, and she had a little session where she said if you wanted her to review your work and give you suggestions. And I was a fairly new quilter, but I'm like, hey, I'm here, I paid for the classes. But she did say, you know, she would be very honest with you when she did this. And so I knew of her reputation, and she was like, you know, she was looking at people's work in the sense of fine art more than cozy, comfy quilts. And so I knew that. And she says, well, maybe you want to use less hearts in your work. She was really nice. I enjoyed the class immensely. I totally changed how I worked after taking the workshop. So it was a fabulous workshop, but I will never forget her advice. Maybe I want to do a few less hearts, which of course I did not do, because that is not what speaks to me. What speaks to me is hearts. So I had to have a heart quilt in the holiday book. And there are also pillows. So over the next days of this month, I'm going to pull out quilts from the book, pick them, you know, they're all here now, and I'll be showing them you the quilt here with me. Since you got to see it at some other places, now you get to see it with me. And I want to walk through all the projects, just put the pictures up one right after the other, because I grouped them together by type of projects, because several of the designers, my designer friends, did the same quilt, but they look so different, and I want to show them to you that way. So of course Maureen did the heart with her newest fabric line, and that is so cute. Her fabric line is darling. I'm gonna sit down. It's called Open Heart, so you know, like perfect, right? Let me. Then I had Jacqueline did several of the projects. I mean, what a great friend. She not just did one, but she did 3. She did the carrots, which so cute. She also did the little summer house with the flag. You know, she likes applique. Jacqueline Steves loves applique, so she did the applique, and then she did the twist. And they did it's totally different. That twist looks so different. I'm going to show you the next twist that the other people did, and you're going to see. Scott did the twist with Christmas fabric, and he told me he has this huge stash of Christmas fabric, so he had so much fun using it. And then Melissa did the twist with Halloween fabric, which is what I used in the book, but she used from her new line that's coming out, which we're going to do the spooky sampler, but she used the plums and the black and the cream, and then you can see the second picture where she backed it with the teal. That is so neat. Now we're going to go from spooky over to what Becky did, and she did a couple of projects as well, and she also loves applique. And when you went to her site, you saw her way of her she likes to do applique with all of her tools. She uses all the computerized stuff and the die cutting and different things like that. So she did the bunny pillow and both of the tote bags. So she did the little boy and the little girl, ghost and the pumpkin, and showed you how she went through that process of not only doing it all with her machine, then she used her embroidery function to do the quilting as well. Shannon and Jason picked something totally different. So they did the hugs and kisses, and they did improv fabric and used the improv fabric, which is like the crumb blocks and things like that, and then cut that all up to do the patchwork of the hugs and kisses. And it turned out looking so cool. They used a really pale pink background, which I think really worked well with all of those really strong colors. Amy did the sparkler. So the sparkler, she did the whole quilt with a really light blue, a little different shade than mine, and it was the Liberty cottons that she used that Riley Blake produces. So the next one that was a sparkler was Kate at the Fat Quarter Shop. She also loved the sparkler and did the whole thing. Kate used Christmas fabric, and then she took Huddle and put it on the back, so it's really, really cozy. And those two look so different. I mean, it looks like totally different quilts. Now the Liberty Hill was done by several other people. Andy did Liberty Hill first in fall fabric, and that's the one that's on my wall in the red and white, and in the book it's in blue and white. Then Kate at Orfill Threads. So Orfill Threads team, Kate on the team did the same block, but she just did 3 of them like a table runner. And then she also had her really cute assistant, her dog, in the photo shoot, which I love. And then Scott also did, but he did the full size. So he did the whole quilt too, and took it out to the beach, the beach. Oh my goodness, isn't that gorgeous? Who doesn't want to take their quilts to the beach, yeah? So the last ones that got sewn up were the little houses, and Bonnie did the first one I'll show you here, and she did 4 of them with the beaver. That's what it is. I wasn't sure. It's a beaver, and he doesn't have any pants, so she was joking about that. They have little jackets but no pants on. And then she did a really strong flying geese border on it, which turns out so cute, especially that 4 block. It's just really striking. And then last, Bev did the houses in her new Christmas fabric that's coming out very, very soon. So how darling is that? Just so sweet, and I love all her fabrics. So everybody outdid themselves, just totally outdid themselves. I have such wonderful friends. I know they have lots that they're doing, and they took their time to be part of this and share it with their readers and share it with you. So hopefully you made some new friends on this tour. You got to meet some new people. You went over to Martingale, where we had 2 different prizes. One was on their blog and one was at their Instagram. We'll be pulling names for those in a few days. And then I have a whole stack of books that I'll be signing and sending out to those of you who will be getting one. So, and you'll have to watch later. I think on Friday again, I should have, hopefully everybody will have gotten names back from their winners. If not, it'll be next Monday. I'll just make a whole list over on the project page, because you're emailed from the designer, and then you have to wait sometimes for people to email back. Everybody doesn't check their email as much as I do, which is multiple times a day. Yes, I do. All right, my friend, I'm so glad you were here. So glad you were hanging out today with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being part of my book tour. I love you. Mwah. See you online.